tweeting about the new jobs numbers 69 minutes before they were released. 7:21 a.m. Eastern, the president tweets, quote, looking forward to seeing the employment numbers at 8:30 this morning. Well, you know, stock futures, bond yields, the value of the dollar, it all moved fast immediately after the president's tweet about the numbers. So some people were making a lot of money ahead of the actual release of the numbers, which came, as it always does, at the exact same time, 69 minutes later, as it has every single month for decades, showing a 49-year low in the unemployment rate and 223,000 new jobs added in the United States. Those are great numbers. But here is the problem. There is a federal rule dictating that federal employees who know the jobs numbers ahead of time, including the President of the United States, must keep their mouths shut about it. It says, quote, all employees of the executive branch who receive pre-release distribution of information and data are responsible for assuring there is no release prior to the official release time. Out front now, former chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors under President Obama, Austan Goolsbee, and former senior economics advisor to the Trump campaign, Steve Moore, who is now an informal White House advisor. Austan, let me start with you. You worked in the White House, so you were part of the briefing that happened to President Obama on the jobs numbers, you know, the night before he finds out what they are. You say if you had done what Trump did today, you'd be under investigation tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It was totally inappropriate. He shouldn't have done it. I was the guy, the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, is the one who receives the data and writes up a report and goes and briefs the president. And this is confidential information of the highest order. When you talk to your own staff at the Council of Economic Advisors, you cannot talk about the numbers on the telephone. You have to use an encrypted line, what we call colloquially the bat phone, if you want to discuss those numbers with your own staff. So Trump should not have done this. And as soon as he did it, they should have just apologized and said he's never going to do that again, because he directly violated a federal regulation that exists to prevent exactly what happened this morning, which is he tweeted something, he put out the information that was market moving, and a bunch of people made a lot of money off of information that was not public.
And that's the bottom line, Steve. I mean, should he, at the very least, let's talk about an apology? I mean, because you did have a few people make a lot of money, and a lot of people didn't.
Well, look, I agree with Austan that it was inappropriate for President Trump to send out this tweet. But, you know, I was tweeting out that we were going to get a blockbuster jobs report, and I hadn't even seen the numbers. I don't think there was anything too surprising about Trump saying we're going to, you know, looking forward to the numbers, because we know
that he gets the number
in
advance.
He had seen the numbers, and you had not seen the numbers.
And he comes out in advance saying, I can't wait for it. I mean, Steve, it's pretty clear he knows it's good.
Well, of course, but we all knew it was going to be good.
When Steve says that, the market doesn't move.
Okay, but look, we don't know what moved the market this morning. And by the way, a lot of times when you have a good jobs report, the stock market goes down, it doesn't go up.
To move.
Okay, but look, my point is, first of all, should he have done it? No. Was it an appropriate thing? Probably not. But most people knew that we were going to get a good jobs report. I mean, anybody who's been following these numbers knows that. But look, we're bearing the lead here. The important thing is we've got an economy that is now firing on all cylinders, Austan. It's an amazing accomplishment. All of your friends who said a year and a half ago that Trump was going to destroy the economy, that he was going to cause a second Great Depression and so on, were completely wrong. We've got a hotter economy now than we've had in 20 years. And that's an amazing story.
Austan?
It was a good jobs number this month. It was relatively weak the last 2 months. We're averaging about 175 a month. That's a solid report. We've had 107 months of positive job growth. Donald Trump has been there for 16 of those. He deserves some credit, and he should not have been violating federal rules when tweeting out this information. The irony is, why did he do that? He was trying to call attention to good numbers. If he had not said anything breaking the rules, there would have been more attention on the numbers than there is now, because a lot of the attention is on what he did.
And Steve, to this point, I mean, this is what I'm curious about, right? Trump was briefed last night, which could open the door now that he's going to go on Twitter more than an hour before the release comes out and talk, sort of, brag about the upcoming release or promote it, shall I say. It makes me remember when his friend, Carl Icahn, sold off more than $30 million in steel stocks just days before Trump announced upcoming tariffs. And Carl Icahn made a whole lot of money. Of course, Trump and Icahn deny that they spoke about it, that Icahn had any personal warning. But now it's, we know this president talks to his friends at night, his big money friends, and he's off on Twitter, putting numbers out early. I mean, can you say for sure he's not telling people about them the night before because he's so excited and wants to brag?
No, but I think that's the point here. Look, Austin talked about it. You said, Austin, you were the guy who got the numbers the night before the report came out. And if Austin had called his friend at Goldman Sachs and said, hey, we're going to get a blockbuster report tomorrow, or the numbers look terrible for tomorrow, then it would be a gross violation. And that would be effectively insider trading. But look, there are 20 million people.
Felony, yes.
But is this now a concern that we need to talk about? You look at the Icahn example and the question marks around that. A president who obviously has no respect for the rule to not put it out on Twitter. He knows it the night before. Do we now need to ask? Is he telling his friends about it?
Nobody in the administration should be, whether it's the president or any of his deputies, should be releasing information that is proprietary, that is available to the public later. So I agree with that. And as I said, if he had made it, and by the way, there's nothing in his statement. It's not like saying, hey, we're going to get 100 and, whatever the number was, 170,000 jobs or 220,000 jobs. That would have been an approach. He just said, I'm looking forward to some good numbers.
You do not have to give the exact number to be in violation of the federal rule. That's not correct. Yeah. If I get up and I go, but I say, I didn't tell you what the number was.
Fair point.
You concluded it was good.
69 minutes and counting.
You cannot do that.
That's a fair point. But look, Austin, these numbers on the economy are so amazing. I want you to admit that this tax cut is working pretty well. Because not only are we getting these blockbuster jobs reports, we have a report that came up at the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta today that estimates 4.7% growth for the first 2 months of this quarter. Where, the revenue numbers for April were unbelievable. This is an incredible economy that's growing much faster than it ever did under Obama.
Program.
Okay.
Wait, Steve, on this program, you predicted that the first quarter growth rate of this year was going to be over 5%. And it was
I never
actually
said that.
2.2%.
Never once did I say that. You show me the quote.
All right,
you said we can get to 3 to 4%.
It would be over 5%.
You looked that up. I never said 5% growth. But I have said 3 to 4. And we're there.
I have a good memory, but I don't remember that exact quote.
Thank you,
But that does not mean you didn't say it.
It was about the Atlanta
Donald Trump might have said it because he always said we're going to get 5% growth. But we're 4.7 is a pretty good number.
We're going to check that tape and have you back. Thanks both. And next, President Trump.